Secretary Bonnie Kinks, President Dr. Lee Brown, Eileen Delaney.
Yes, I'm here and I'd like to be able to participate virtually due to medical reasons. And there is no one in the room with me that is over the age of 18.
Thank you. Ariana Federico Mondragon.
Hi, yes, I would also like to participate virtually. There's no one in the room with me and I'm at home because I just had a baby.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Andrew Hayes.
Present.
Tim Ware. G.I. Wilson.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We've already received statements for cause for our two members that are participating remotely. So we will go into public comments. Public comment will be limited to 10 minutes tonight since we have to go into time certain interviews. Naris, I believe we received 2 comments in advance. I received them via email before the meeting started. And if you could go ahead and let us know who's requested to speak both in person and online.
Yes, Chair Pintar, we have 4 in-person requests to speak and 1 online as of now. So if you allow me, I can start with the in-person. First, we will call Darwin Fishman.
Thank you. Darwin Fishman, he, him, his, Racial Justice Coalition of San Diego. And I just want to start by thanking again CLERB for the opportunity to have the community input in the hiring process of the EO at the behest of Surge North County leading that push. And with the community reps, I want to also share appreciation and thanks for being selected for the Community 1 District 1 rep. With that, I'm not going to share confidential information. I just want to speak to the process and where you're at tonight in terms of the work that we did, and hopefully that will be given great weight for the community reps in the process that we played in interviewing the candidates and the contributions, the input that we have provided. I want to say, as one of the reps who has been active in CLERB for over 5 years now, coming to the meetings, as well as also the life experience I have, been arrested multiple times and been in different jails, that contribution and that part I think is really critical in the role that we will hopefully play in this process, and then ultimately in the selection of the new EO. As all of you know, the path that Paul Parker was on and the work that he did was something that the community very much supported. And you see that every month with the families, the organizations that come out and the individuals, and the particular issues that you, the challenges that you encountered. Obviously, at this point, with Paul Parker stepping down and coming with a new EO, we're looking forward to that struggle continuing, and that it was not part of the status quo, the regular job, in the sense that you as a board, as well as your EO, went above and beyond the call. We appreciate that. You can see the support we have. We're going to continue to be here and to look for that. And it goes without saying that the juxtaposition of that in this moment in which you're selecting the EO with literally the press reports that have been coming out about in-custody deaths. Obviously, it's front and center politically here. Obviously, we continue to have serious problems. And with still having these in-custody deaths and the impacted families come to your meetings and having this public presence, I hope that does weigh heavily on you as you go through the process tonight of listening to the candidates and who you select. So I want to thank you for this time and effort that you put into this. And we're looking forward to your selection and the new leadership that will come in at the EO level, and the relationship that we'll have with the board as well as the community at large. So I just wanted to offer those comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will call Sabrina Whittle.
Hello and good evening. Sabrina Weddle, Saxon Rodriguez's older sister. As you guys interview for somebody to replace Paul, I really hope that we take into consideration that us families will not be silenced. We will continue to show up to these meetings. I really hope that who replaces him puts in as much effort as he did. I don't feel like I've seen it since he's left. And just to really take into the fact that we will continue to come to these meetings and advocate for our loved ones, no matter if we are giving 45 seconds, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 40. I'm actually really surprised I even have 3 minutes today. But again, I just really hope that these interviews are taken seriously and somebody is willing to fight for answers, transparency, and answers, because 3 years later, I still don't have some answers, and seeing the recent CLERB findings and other deaths, we're left without answers. I pray that somebody that gets this position will go toe-to-toe with the Board of Supervisors, that will go toe-to-toe with the sheriffs. We know that CLERB doesn't have teeth for what we want, but even that, those bite marks with no teeth, like, we need an advocate that's going to continue to remember this could be your family member, your brother, your sister, your daughter. But thank you.
Thank you. Norris, I just noticed that the agenda did say 1 minute for public speakers and the timer was set for 3 minutes. So how many speakers do we have left, since we do have time certain interviews?
We have 3.
Okay, let's do 2 minutes each for the next 2, just to make sure we stay on time. Sorry about that. I didn't notice the timer until Ms. Weddle stood up to speak, so.
Sure. Next, we will call Yusuf Miller.
Good evening. My name is Yusuf Miller, North County Equity and Justice Coalition Saving Lives in Custody campaign. And in reference to the executive officer position, hopefully, and like has been echoed before, that I will appreciate the intensity that you investigate these people and interview these people on their track record of law enforcement reform, their track record on decarceration. These track records are important to not only doing the job properly, but also seeing it from the perspective of the families. What we lost in Paul Parker, in his attitude and his commitment and his approach to the family members, is something that we will miss if not being there, and we will drive for if we don't see it. So the connection with the community, the connection with family, the ability and the knowledge to be able to circumnavigate the system that we all feel failed us. This is the type of person that we need, someone who is knowledgeable, but not so incorporated that they can't think outside of the box and that they can't make changes and adjustments that will support the families. Not just because a certain issue is the law or the process or the procedure does not mean it's wrong, not wrong. So we need a person to think outside the box, someone that will help and communicate with the families in an honest way, not telling us what we want to hear, but making sure that we hear what is going on and making moves to change what we have so far, because there's a lot of room for growth. And CLERB has been a part of that room for growth since we first started in 2020. We've seen some growth in CLERB, so we know that it's possible, and we know more is possible. So a person that will be innovative in that way is the type of person we're looking for. And we hope that when you go to this next stage of interview from the other candidates, or the ones who are left, or the individual who is left, that you will keep that in mind and make sure that we find the best candidate possible.
Thank you. Next, we will call Lori Faldenia.
Good evening, and thank you for taking the comments before you go into closed session. And I appreciate the remarks from others about the importance of choosing wisely. Paul Parker did an excellent job. It will be difficult to replace him. There have been several news stories recently about settlements that the county has reached regarding deaths in custody. The latest one is costing us $15 million. But the best thing about that is it comes with monitoring for compliance over what the court has found were deficiencies that contributed to the death. And to the Cerna family, I know that won't bring their daughter back, but at least there is some oversight now. I think we really do need to put this sheriff's office in receivership. And I've mentioned this before. I know that you are a very well-intentioned board. I would like to see you be more effective. And one of those areas to be more effective is to send a letter to ask that SB 519 be complied with. And they start releasing the Critical Incident Review Board documents as the new state law requires. I think if this board were to pass a resolution or draft a letter and send it to the Office of the Attorney General, to the Senator Atkins and others. I mean, you have people on your board that work in legislative offices. I'm a former legislator. If I know of somebody violating a law that I had worked very hard to pass and it wasn't being implemented by the people that it impacts, I would want to know about it, and I would want to take steps to ensure that they are following the law, because there is nothing more appalling to the public than to have a law enforcement agency refuse to follow the law. And so that is what they're doing when it comes to releasing those critical incident reports. So I hope that you will send a letter to agencies that can compel, and it's not the Board of Supervisors, as I've explained before. The sheriff is under the state constitution. You have to send it to state constitutional officers in order for them to take action. And I hope that you will do that, and that they will start to release the information that the law makes clear should be available to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will go with the online request to speak, and we will start with Paloma Serna.
Hello, I am with the North County Equity and Justice Coalition and the Saving Lives in Custody of California. I would like to echo exactly what everyone has been stating. You know, Paul Parker was doing an excellent job for the families. He had goals for to see that people were going to be held accountable for these in custody deaths. And you know, I'm so glad that we were able to get some policy changes. You know, and it's only a year. You know, I wish it was longer than that. You know, I wish the judge would see the sheriff department more than a year, but it's a start. And I hope other families could do the same thing. But I would ask for the clerk to please keep pushing to get to have oversight over the medical. They are such a problem, and the sheriff will continue to use them to blame too. Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker, Tom Packard.
Hello, Tom Packard with Showing Up for Racial Justice, North County. Thanks for allowing a last minute contribution here. I really hope you'll be looking for somebody that is skilled at and willing to engage in systems change at the county and legislative and state level. You all know the weaknesses that your authority has, and if as it evolves, there need to be legislative changes in Sacramento, and of course, anything the Board of Supervisors can do. I hope you'll make those major priorities for your new executive. That kind of builds on what Paloma Serna and Lori Saldana said, that we really need somebody that can expand the authority that you have to create systems change in the department. Thanks.
Chair Pintar, that concludes our request to speak.
Okay, that concludes our public comment portion. We are going to adjourn into our closed session to interview the finalists. Everyone will have to vacate the building. And I just wanted to give you when we come out of closed session, the only thing we'll be able to report out, I'm hoping that we will come to a conclusion on the selection tonight. I don't know that that will be the case. But when we come out of closed session, we will not be able to announce who that person is, because that person has to undergo the county's very stringent background checks and vetting process. So I just want to make sure you understand what will be announced tonight. And then once that process is done, that's when the actual person will be announced. So the county building will be open again to members of the public who want to come to the second meeting for tonight, which starts at 8:30. The building will open up again at 8, and then this room will open up again at 8:15, or you can certainly join us online for public comment during that meeting. Thank you very much, and we are adjourned.
So, definitely will be managed.